Today I'm here to explain about this question. To solve this question, you need to understand the meaning of this notation. Let me explain about it today. Limit. You can read this notation as limits of f of x as x approaches 3. How do you find it? Actually, it's pretty similar to f of 3. To find f of 3, what you have to do is just plug in 3 into this equation. That's it. But to find limits of f of x, you have to calculate. You have to do two things. You have to calculate two things. First one is this, and second one is this. The reason why you have to do these two is you don't actually plug in 3. You are going to plug in the value which is really close to 3. Let me explain about it. If the graph is like this, and if you want to find the value when x is really close to 3, you have to approach from both ways, from right side and from left side. So this one actually it's when you approach from right side, so you can read it as limit f of x as x approaches from right side. That's because 3 plus, this means it's not 3 but it's pretty close to 3 but a little bit bigger than 3. For example, 3.001 or 3.00002 or something like that. So you don't actually plug in 3 but very close to 3 but a little bit bigger. On the other hand, this one you can read it as limit f of x as x approaches 3 from left side. So as it says, you are going to plug in the value x is equal to 2.9999 or x is equal to 2.99998 or something like that. Okay. So how do you find this value? Actually, you don't need to plug in this complicated value. You can just simply calculate it. So let's work on it. So first of all, actually you can divide this polynomial. It's because you can factor the numerator. It's going to be x negative 3 times x negative 1. I just factor the denominator over x negative 3. Then you can cancel out x negative 3. X negative 3. Then you are going to plug in the value x is really close to 3 but a little bit bigger than 3. So, but you don't need to write it like 3.00001 negative 1 or something like that. You can just simply plug in 3 this time. But of course, you can't plug in 3 into here. That's because denominator cannot be 3. So the denominator cannot be 0. But as I said, the value you plugged in is not 3, which is very close to 3 but a little bit bigger. That's why you just can write it like this. Then you got the value. It might be so weird concept, but yeah, this is the concept of limit. Okay, then next, let's find the value of limit of f of x as x approaches 3 from left side. as I calculated, f of x is x negative 1. X approaches 3 from left side. Then again, you can just plug in 3 in negative 1, which is 2. So as a result of approach from right and left side, you got same value. Limit f of x approaches 3 from right side is equivalent to limit f of x as x approaches 3 from left side is equivalent to. Then the answer here, it's going to be 2. If the value of this and the value of this is different, the limit of f of x as x approaches 3 is not going to be 2. In this case, for example, if the value of this is 2 and if the value of this is 1, the value of f of limit f of x approaches 3, it doesn't have any value in this case. So you have to write it down, doesn't exist. But in this question, it corresponded, luckily. So you can just answer like this. Okay, it might be complicated. So some of you might think like, what you did is just plugged in 3. So why didn't you plug 3 from the beginning? But actually there's a reason why you cannot do that. So let me give you an example. So let's solve this question. When x is smaller than 2 or equivalent to, f of x is equal to 2 negative x. On the other hand, when x is bigger than 2, f of x is equal to x. And you have to find the value of limit f of x as x approaches 2. So to find this value, you have to calculate two things. First one, limit f of x as x approaches 2 from right side and also left side. So first, let's work on from right side. When x is really close to 2 but a little bit bigger than 2, in this case you have to use this equation, f of x is equal to x, because x is a little bit bigger than 2. So let me plug in 2 here. So f of x is going to be limit of x as x approaches 2 from right side is going to be 2. Okay. Then next, limits of f of x as x approaches 2 from left side, you are going to use this equation. So limit x like this. Then you just plug in 2 here. 2 negative 2 is 0. Yes. The value is different. The value when you approach from right side and the value when you approach from left side is different. So the answer is doesn't exist. Okay, that's why you have to be careful when you plug in. So again, you have to plug in from right side and left side, and you have to make sure if these are same values. Otherwise, sometimes the answer is doesn't exist. Okay, that's all.